to this part of the video. So since the last time I left you, the basing material is completely dried, and it's the following day now since the last part of the video. So this morning I went outside and I spray undercoated the marine with sort of a grey primer, which I thought would probably be the best colour for the for white miniature and stuff on there. So that's as you can see, the basing material has actually come out quite nice on there as well, so hopefully that work out quite well. So so this part of the video I'm basically going to be channeling Duncan from Games Workshop, who does amazing paint videos as well, so that's really cool. So as usual, he basically starts off his videos by saying get your paint, which I'm going to use white Scar as the base coat colour for this part of the video. So give it a good shake, so you can hear it just shaking around there in the background. White Skull or white paint is very thick, so you really have to give it a good shake just to make sure that all the particles and everything are separated and stuff on there. So right, just open up the tub there and sort of stick him there and so on. So yeah, I'll be using a Citadel large base brush for this part of it. I actually quite like the large base brush on there, so I'm just going to basically be loading up my palette and really just sort of get some paint on there, and then I can add some water on there as well. So I'm going to make it quite wet at this stage. Right, so apologies for the shadows and everything. So it's the first time I'm trying to do stuff on camera. Yeah, as you can see, it's quite a wet colour I'm trying to do at this stage. Yeah, maybe a bit too wet, but it should be okay for now. So as Duncan would say, it's good to apply a large sort of loads of thin layers rather than one thick layer. I think with white it's quite important to put on thin layers, really, because it's quite difficult to sort of build up white colour and so on. So as you can see, the white colour, I'm putting it on very wet at this stage, really, sort of. So it's almost like another undercoat, really. Before I use spray paints and so on, used to undercoat my models using this. You can actually buy an Imperial primer colour from GW, which is quite good. So if you don't have the ability to take a model outside and spray paint something, you can basically use an Imperial primer. It's quite a funny paint actually to use as well. So yeah, so I'm just adding a few thin layers of white paint on there. Hopefully it's not too boring. It's going on quite well at this stage. Good thing with the large base brush, it does cover large areas and so on. So basically I'm just adding a few extra bits there and stuff on there, and it sort of dries as you go through. So I'll just have a look at the base. Don't really want to be painting the base too much. It's all got a bit wet paint at this stage. So yeah, so I'm just going to go around and sort of finish off this part of the base. Nice wet texture at this stage. It looks quite messy, I suppose it looks quite messy on camera and so on, but it'll be fine once we get there. Yeah, so that's basically going on there like that. So get a bit wet there. Bit more paint. I'm gonna pick up the base on there as well. I've also forgotten to stick stick him on his base there. So I'm just put that down for a second. I'm going to stick him on the base system on there, so we can go a bit further. That's better. Right, so I'm just going to adjust the camera a little bit and sort of come back and take it from there. Yeah, okay, that's better. That's better. Right. So as you probably saw, sort of first mistake of the video really. I sort of kept making fingerprint marks and stuff all over the model because the paint is the paint is too wet and so on. So it is sort of making marks, any fingerprint marks and stuff like that is just going straight off on the model there and so on. So I'm just going to finish adding this first coat on. I'm not an expert painter or anything like this, so it's not sort of what should we call it, golden demon standard or anything like that. So we're basically going to be sort of following this as I go through and so on. So I'm going to do it in a few different paint stages, so any comments and so on will be much appreciated on certain parts of the video and so on. So yeah, I'm just basically just going around quickly, just adding a few things on there. So right, so I think that's roughly the first coat done. So what I'm going to do now is going to stick him in the airing cupboard and let that dry, and then basically do the same sort of thing again here as well. So I'm just trying to rush. So I'll see you in a minute, guys. Okay, right, bye. Okay, welcome back. So the marine has been in the airing cupboard for a little bit of time now, just to dry up the first layer. As you may be able to notice from the first part of the painting part of this video, I made a few mistakes, and the first layer was a bit too wet and didn't go on very well and so on, and had finger marks and all sorts of things all over the place. And I forgot to put the model onto its sort of painting base. So essentially, a lot of painters and stuff do this, is basically get a large, I'll just take him off, get a large amount of plasticine or sticky thing, put that onto an old paint pot and stuff that you haven't used, and basically just attach the model that you're painting, especially if you're doing individual ones. Put your model straight onto one of those, and that basically gives you a little elevated space in order to paint your miniature, and you won't get finger marks and fingerprints all over the bits and pieces on there as well. So yeah, so what I'm going to do now is just add another layer of white paint onto this miniature, basically, so that we can take it a little bit further as well. So hopefully now, really at this stage, hopefully by adding additional layers now, we shouldn't have the sort of pooling effects and stuff that you saw from the first part of this painting video as well. So I'm just lightly adding another layer of white paint onto the model there, and basically it's not as wet or as basic, because there's another layer of paint on there already. It will basically apply a much easier on there as well. So basically this is where people say just add several layers of the same coat rather than one thick layer, because basically you'll be covering all the detail and everything on there as well. So so the idea is just basically just to go over and over with very thin layers of the same color, till you get a nice sort of steady sort of constant color and stuff on there as well. So not going to do so much on the base and so on, because that will be fine as it is in its basic form there till we get later on in the model and so on. So I'm sort of doing this behind the camera as well, so it's a little bit hard to see what's going on and see exactly what I'm painting and so on. So you have to bear with me, and hopefully it won't be too bad there as well. So yeah, so I'm nearly adding just the other layer on there as well. So yeah, so as I thought, basically all the white is getting a bit more constant in its color and so on. So yeah, basically that's pretty cool. So happy with the way it's coming out, because the first time when I put the wet white on there, it was a little bit of a worry, just to make sure on those there. This has been a while since I've painted a white model, and sort of remember why I don't like white, because it's very hard to get a sort of consistent colour, and there isn't really a base colour and so on to use for these. So I was just hoping that the grey primer was going to help a little bit on there, but essentially it's not really doing too much stuff on there as well. So yeah, so that is basically there. I'm basically there really. Yeah, so I'm going to stick this back in the airing cupboard again, just to speed up the drying process, and then hopefully just one more layer and so on, and we should be there. Okay, that's, yeah, as you can see there, so a lot better now. I'm just going to add a few brush strokes in on these areas. Okay, yeah, sorry for mumbling a little bit and stuff like that, so I'll pause the video here and we'll come back in a second. Okay, so back again now. So I'm just going around adding the third layer of paint now onto this miniature, which hopefully I think is enough to cover this to a nice sort of consistent layer as well there as well. So as you may have noticed, I'm covering the whole model, weapons and backpack and bits and pieces there. Obviously I'm going to be painting this guy up as a Mentor, Legion, Marine and so on. So what I like to do with my miniatures and painting techniques is to really just go over the whole model with the main prime base colour, really, and get that as good as I possibly can. It goes, even if it goes over the weapons and bits and pieces like that. So I just like one solid colour all over the miniature and so on. So we have a nice consistent colour and so on. I know I'm going to go over these areas with different colours and stuff later on, but I find obviously at this stage I just want one strong prime colour to build on and stuff on there. So as long as I'm happy with the prime colour, then I'm happy to sort of move on and do the other set prime colours and so on those as well there. So yeah, basically I'm just finishing off this layer on there. I've got a nice solid white colour now over most of the miniature now as well. Any of the sort of streaks and stuff I had from the first layer, to do with the wetness from the first layer, I've managed to get rid of by just adding additional layers of the white over the colour there as well. So obviously at this stage I've just added the white scar colour and got a nice consistent colour on there as well. So I'm going to put this in the airing cupboard again, and we can then move on to the next stage. Alright, okay, so sorry. Yeah, so that basically there, as you can see, is pretty well nice white prime coloured there as well. Okay, so I'll see you in a bit. Hi and welcome back. So that's nice and dry now from being in the airing cupboard and so on. So I can probably imagine people watching this video, there's probably loads of people like shouting at the video saying, oh, what's he doing, and I can't believe he's doing it that way, and bits and pieces like that. So I'm quite happy for people to put comments in and so on, stuff on there. So I'm nearly coming to the end of this video now, in terms of what I want to do on this first bit. So as you can see, I put a nice consistent white tone on this model now. So what I wanted to do now is actually put a wash on, in order to get into the recesses and bits and pieces on there, and the idea is to make it easier for painting details and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is put a thin layer of Nuln Oil wash over the model now, and then let that dry overnight and so on, and then come back and dry brush some white on top of that tomorrow, in order to pick up the detail and so on now. So it's been a while since I've added like a wash and stuff onto a white model, so I'm hoping it's not going to ruin it too much. So here we go. So I'm just gonna, yeah, it's gonna be quite dirty, so hopefully it's not too bad. But the idea is to get into all the recesses and stuff, so that it's easier to pick up the details and stuff later on. So I'm just going around the model there, just adding the wash on, so it's sort of really sort of dirty and on those there as well. So I thought it would be easier just to go with Nuln Oil. Not sure if that's the best choice for a white model at this stage, but yeah, basically I'm just thinning down the whitewash, the Nuln Oil stuff on there as well. So I'm just gonna go around quickly and just add that on there, and yeah, so all that work getting the perfect white and so on is obviously just been just helps really. Later on this will dry off a lot brighter than it is. It obviously looks quite a dirty model at the moment, but as you can see with the details and so on, it's obviously getting in the crevices and stuff like that. So this will be the basis for the dry brushing situation tomorrow morning. So I'm just going to throw a little bit on the base there as well, to help it out. The lid on my Nuln Oil is playing around a little bit, so it's not getting so much on the brush and so on. So I just managed to just quickly paste that on, and sort of get that into the recesses and so on. So this is a technique that I sort of use a lot on models and so on there. So give it a solid base color, then a heavy wash, normally of Agrax Earthshade is generally the wash I use. Occasionally I use Nuln Oil and so on for certain colors and so on. So yeah, so I think that's basically done now. Yeah, so I can imagine there's lots of people shouting at the screen and stuff over the appearance of this model on there as well. So it's a bit of a shock and so on. So what I will do now is throw this into the airing cupboard and let that dry up on stuff on there, and hopefully I've got enough time tonight to dry brush some white on there and bring up the white and so on back on there. So I'll see you in a bit, guys. Okay, hi. So this is the last part of this video for the base colours. So he's been in the airing cupboard for quite a bit. It's not too bad and so on. So as you can see, it's not as greyed out as it first looked before I put it in the airing cupboard there and so on. So what I'm going to do in this last bit is just basically dry brush some sort of white scars back into the white areas, just so that we bring the colours back up to what they should be and so on. So I've loaded up a brush, so I'm just going to basically dry brush some white back onto these areas to get the white back up to where it should be. Yeah, so I'm using a nice large brush for the dry brushing purposes. Yeah, so that it basically speeds the whole sort of process up. As you can maybe see there, with the legs that I've just done there, literally just a nice large dry brush can bring the colours back up there as well. So we can see a nice almost back to the white that we had previously as well. So yeah, so that's the way I tend to do my base colours and so on. Show the knee pad there and stuff. Yeah, got a nice white effect. So so it's a way of adding subtle shading back into the whites and stuff without playing around with too many washes and stuff later on. So I think it gives quite a nice realistic effect for these sort of colours and so on there as well. So definitely with sort of prime colours, it's definitely quite hard to sort of get a nice consistent colour, but then also get a nice sort of subtle shading effect as well. So I like to use the dry brushing technique to sort of bring that in, and it was good to see that White Dwarf's starting to use dry brushing instead of like edge highlighting and bits and pieces like that. So just going to do the arms a little bit on those, just a little bit more paint onto my brush and so on. Yeah, so this is basically the last section of this video, just adding the white back into some of these areas on there so that we can get on and add some more colours to this model as well. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully not going to take too long to start doing the next part of this video and so on, and then we can add some more interesting colours, and I'll be using some smaller brushes and so on to make it a little bit more interesting. So yeah, so I'm just going to finish this off. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you in the next part of this video. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.